Are you looking for an affordable home in the San Marcos area? Well, in today's video, we're exploring Hymeadow, a new construction neighborhood by Brohn Homes in northeast San Marcos. I'm going to explore two of their homes, talk about their current incentives, and honestly just give you my honest opinion on the floor plans we're looking at, the build quality, and what the community has to offer. We're going to get after it right now. Hey, Daniel here, your local Austin area real estate expert. If you're thinking of making a move to the greater Austin area, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on the latest real estate news. I typically upload twice a week to this channel, every Tuesday and Thursday usually, covering a wide area from Georgetown all the way down to San Marcos, everything in between. Do tours, do market reports. So if you are thinking of buying a home in the next 12 months, definitely subscribe. I'm sure you're gonna find videos that are in neighborhoods you're looking at and at price points you're looking at too. You know, as a teacher for 10 years before I jumped into real estate, as a band director, I actually taught at Aikens High School in South Austin my last few years as an educator. And I found that a lot of the values and skills that I had as a teacher transferred over really well into real estate. Honesty, work ethic, effective communication, and just wanting to help people achieve their goals is still really important to me. So it doesn't matter if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. I'd love to help you and your family find a great home and a great price in this really interesting market we're in right now. All of that contact info can be found in the description below. Cool. All right, let's go check out house number one. So you're going to tour the model home as I'm talking about the community and what Brohn is offering. The model home, just in case you're interested, is a 2,595 square foot home. It's a 5-bed, 3-bath, 2-story, and its base price is $347K. Depending on the lot premium and the upgrades you choose, you'd probably get a house like this somewhere around $360 to $370. But Hymeadow, as I said, is in northeast. It's actually in Maxwell, but if you look on a map, it's northeast San Marcos, southeast Kyle. The nice thing about it being out here is you have a really low property tax rate. So 1.78% is the property tax rate, which is fantastic. HOA fee here is $35 a month. And we can pause the model home tour real quick so you can just kind of see the amenities they have here. But they have a really nice pool, a much nicer pool than I was expecting for $35 a month. Small park, and then they have a basketball and pickleball courts area, kind of uncovered, but away from residential, which is nice. You wouldn't want to be near that basketball court with your backyard. Anyway, so looking back at the model home, talking about Brohn now specifically. So they opened this neighborhood in 2021. They have 70 lots remaining in the current phase, but then they have a whole other phase they're building. So they're anticipating 3 to 4 more years building out here. So open in 21, will most likely be done around 2029. All of the lots here are 30-foot lots. That's really important to know because that's really small. I was really surprised when they said 30. Typically, you see lots between 40 to 60. And so when we say 40, 60, 30, it's all foot and it's the width of the lot. So these homes are pretty tight, pretty close to each other. And that does affect a little bit of the natural light coming in because you're so close to your neighbor's wall. It affects that a little bit, just so you're aware. They do offer to-be-builts, so if you wanted to go that route, you can pick a lot. You can choose from their different floor plans. It takes 3 months, which is insanely fast to build a house. So they definitely have it down to a science, but you would need to do all that about 3 to 4 months in advance before actually moving into the home. They have 8 different custom schemes you can choose from. And those upgrades range from $8,000 to $15,000, and then you can choose the exterior elevation and the color of the home too. So you have some customizable abilities there. But yeah, that's about it. So we're gonna go check out 2 of their homes, a smaller home and a larger home, kind of the lower price and higher price. So I'll see you over at house number 1. So the first house we're checking out is a 1,468 square foot home, 1-story. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath, and this one's listed at $283,000. They do have a couple lower than this. They're 3-bedroom, they're about 1,200 square foot, ranging from $230,000 to $250,000. So that's definitely the lowest price possible in the neighborhood, if that's what you're looking for, but $283,000 is what we're starting at. I realized I didn't say the incentives earlier in the video, so what Brohn is offering is a 4.25% FHA interest rate, which is really good. That's going to help you tremendously on your monthly payments. And so what that means is for a home at this price. I did the math earlier, and that's looking around $9,900 for your down payment if you did the minimum 3.5% down payment for an FHA, so $9,900 down, and then $1,975 would be your estimated monthly mortgage payment on this house. Cool. Let's pan around so you can see where we're at. 2-car garage, pretty good length of driveway, really good width for these roads. Even with parking, you can comfortably get between the cars. Let's check it out. I like the different, I like this color better. So I like that they did something a little different with the shake up there. It's not just hardy plank. There's the white garage door. And then a decent front patio space. I was not expecting that for this price point. So that's nice that you have a little spot out here. You can put chairs. You're tucked away from your neighbor here, so really it's just a spot by yourself over here. It's come with a doorbell, but that's about it. No Ring doorbell, no code on the door, nothing fancy like that. And so most of these homes, and you're gonna see when we see the second house, I'm sure, it is somewhat of a spec builder. They're gonna use the same materials over and over again. So I'll talk about those things as I'm seeing them, but I'm gonna try to focus in on the pros and cons of this layout and what I'm seeing with this particular floor plan, okay? So first thing that caught my eye is it's really dark in here. And I think it's partly because that light does nothing. When I turned it on, it was still very dark. It's also because we're on 30-foot lots, and so your neighbor is really close to you and it's blocking quite a bit of the light able to come in, because we have quite a few windows, so I don't think that's the issue. But something that stood out to me, at least with this floor plan, feels a little dark. Here's just a coat closet. And then down here, I'm sure that's just another, linen closet. Down here are the 3 guest rooms. So they have the guest bathroom, just a single sink, toilet, and acrylic bathtub. And then all of these rooms are pretty small, as you would expect. I mean, it's not difficult to do the math of 4-bedroom for a 1,400 square foot home. The bedrooms are going to be small for sure. Typically 4-bed, you don't really want to go lower than 1,700 square feet if you're wanting really good sized bedrooms or decent sized bedrooms. So it kind of depends on what you're using these rooms for. These are perfect office size spaces, I would say. Small child rooms. Once you get to teenage, young adult, these rooms are not going to be ideal. That being said, this is a college town. We're 10 minutes from Texas State, so if you are maybe a Texas State parent and you're thinking, well, we could buy a house really cheap out in Maxwell and they can commute, it's not a bad idea. So 4 bedrooms, an extra bedroom means college kid gets to rent that out. That's gonna lower how much you pay. And you could house hack this home really well. If you get the loan, or your student gets the loan, and then yes, they owe $19.75 a month, right? But then they get 3 roommates that each pay $700. They're living rent free, right? And they're paying, the roommates are paying their mortgage off for them. So this neighborhood does work quite well, and this specific home works quite well because you're getting 4 beds at a really low price and a low interest rate because the builder's buying it down. I had that thought right now, so that's why I just said all that impromptu to you. But if you're interested, this could be a good house hack opportunity for a Texas State kid. 2-car garage, decent size. I like that they have the EV charger already installed. That's going to help with resale value down the road. Irrigation systems included. We can definitely negotiate getting a garage door opener. You're going to want that for sure. And then tankless water heater is nice. That means your water bill is going to be a little bit lower. Not a big fan of just a single bathroom, and especially just one sink for these 3 guest rooms. I would definitely add a ceiling fan. And then let's check out the primary. So over here is the utility closet. So we don't get a utility room. You do have a shelf above, and it's not stackable. It is side by side, which is nice. Something to be aware of though, because that sound's going to travel. So when you're drying clothes and you're sitting here watching TV, dryer's right there. So not ideal as far as placement away from leisure activities. This is the primary bedroom. It's okay. I mean, you could fit a king size in here, but that's about it. Just a single sink, so we don't get dual vanity, unfortunately. Walk-in shower, no natural light coming into the primary bathroom. For some reason, Brohn doesn't put doors on their toilet areas. I don't know why they choose not to do that. I like the built-in shelf in the closet, that's nice. Then you do get a door for your linen closet. I feel like that's opposite. I want the linen shelves open. I want the toilet behind a door. And then kitchen, decent amount of space. There's no island. I would definitely add an island. There's plenty of space for it, so it's a little annoying they didn't add it. They're just trying to save costs, I'm sure. But nice granite countertop here, so you're getting a quality countertop. I'm impressed that we have a corner pantry at this price point. So plenty of storage with the cabinets, with the pantry. Not a ton of countertop space, right? So you're really gonna need to add some sort of island here, or you could just put a really nice large dining table here, because we don't really have a dining area. You could do an island dining table and then couch, TV there. You do have some room for that. And then backyard. So just a stoop, right? We don't have a covered back patio. Something to remember though, I mean, you own the property, right? So you can do whatever you want. So you can extend this, right? If I bought this, I would look and see how much does it cost to just extend concrete so I can add some chairs out here comfortably and actually enjoy my backyard. This right now, sorry if this gets shaky, I'm gonna raise it. This right now, no rear neighbor, right? So you can see, hopefully you can see, it's just open fields. I'm assuming they're gonna build there, but that would be something we wanna ask before we move forward with this, to see, are we gonna have a rear neighbor there in a year, or are we actually gonna keep all of this sky? Because if it's all this sky, this is a really good deal for this lot placement, as well as this floor plan. But cool, there you have it. That was the first of two homes. Like I said, it's kind of the lower price home. Now we're gonna check out, I believe, their highest price. Second highest. So second highest price for sale. I'll see you over there. So the final home we're checking out is their largest inventory home, and I actually misspoke earlier. This is the most expensive one too in the neighborhood. I'm gonna read this because there's a lot of numbers. So this is a 2,265 square foot home. It's a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2-story, and is listed at $336,000. Now, if you take advantage of the builder's incentives and go with that 4.25% interest rate for an FHA loan, it would be about $11,800 down payment, and then your monthly payment would come out to about $2,460. So we're looking at about $500 more a month. So it's definitely very different from the previous home, being at $1,975 or around that ballpark for that monthly mortgage payment. It's a very different home, right? This is much larger. I kind of prefer the first home though, but I'll explain as we go through this one, okay? So let's just go through it first and we'll discuss. So you can see very large driveway leading up to it. And then we have an empty lot right now. They will build something there. More empty lots there. They will build something there. Yeah, very similar front to the previous one. So we have white and black with this one. I don't think they did a great job with painting the trim black. When you get closer to it, it just doesn't look great. It looks really cheap. And even here, like, you can just see the cornering, like they didn't do a good job of that. So I would ask them to redo that before closing if you went forward with this home. I do like this front patio space, much larger than the previous one. It's annoying that it's swung opposite from this house, so your patios are right next to each other, so you don't really get that privacy, unfortunately. Same features in the front as far as just the doorbell, no keypad or anything like that. And then, did I miss a light? I did, okay. So a decent amount of natural light coming in. I like this from the front here. And then we have this very, very wide walkway coming into the home. These lights just do nothing. I wish they switched that out. It's nice because you do have a fader. I don't think I talked about that yet, but each of these light switches, here we go, right here, you have that fader, which is nice. But I would switch that out. Definitely put a ceiling fan. You'll still have the fader ability. But as far as light, pretty good amount of natural light coming into this one. Massive living room area, so you could put a very large couch here, chairs. You're not going to block the walking way of anywhere else in the house. Really nice size island with this one too. As I said earlier, they're going to use the same materials, right? So same countertop, same flooring, same cabinets, all of that's going to be pretty much the same in all of these homes. I do like that we have a large single basin sink with this one. As I said, large island, you could comfortably fit 3, you could fit 4 people, but comfortably fit 3 chairs there. Fridge here, it's just more countertop space. And you do get a 5 burner range here, you get that 5th burner, which is nice. To the left here, there's a lot of doors. So this one's actually a corner pantry, a walk-in corner pantry, so this is really nice. Although the last home had a corner pantry, which surprised me, so it's not a huge upgrade. And then over here we have our half bathroom. Pretty good amount of space in this. And then it's just a coat closet. Now looking in the garage, we do have the split 2-car garage, which I'm not the biggest fan of. If you do pull your cars in, it's just a really tight fit with those types of doors. And then they have a water tank, so I guess this is an older build where they went with a water tank instead of the tankless water heater. They also don't have the EV charger that the last one had. That's becoming more and more common, so maybe this one is just built a year or 2 ago, I'm not sure. And then we do have some more storage down here, which is a nice feature of the garage. Check out the backyard. Also formal dining area. So something you didn't quite have in the previous home, you do have a space for a formal dining. It's not gonna take up the massive amount of space you have for that living room. Backyard's nice. And honestly, the depth of the lot is pretty nice too. So if having a big backyard is really important to you, 2-story homes may be the way to go. If you find a neighborhood you're invested, you really want that neighborhood, the 2-story home is gonna have a smaller footprint than a 1-story, and you can see that right here. So our back neighbor, that's a 1-story home, and they're really close to their back fence. It's just because it's a larger footprint for the home, whereas this home, 2-story, it's gonna be a smaller footprint, and so it's the same lot sizes, but we get more yard space, if that makes sense. We have a little rain gauge there, so that tells us if the irrigation system needs to work or not. That's a nice touch. I don't know why we have these, what happened here. I'm sure a story happened, but that doesn't look great. For a new construction, I would expect all the same stain for the fence line. So that would be something we want to ask about too. See if they can restain the fence for us. Still no covered back patio, which that would bother me. For some people, it wouldn't be a big deal. I spend quite a bit of time in the back patio, so I would want it covered living in Texas. Now walking upstairs, this is carpeted, and all of upstairs is gonna be carpeted, and there's no overhang. So this is very much separated, so you're not gonna have noise bleeding above or below. So we have a second landing. This is really large, or excuse me, a first landing, but second living room area. So this is nice, especially if you have a large family or you want to have 2 separate areas. Make this a man cave, make this a board game area, make it a pool hall, however you want to use it. It's very, very large. And then our guest rooms are down here. So guest bathroom has 2 sinks. That's a nice touch. I prefer 2 sinks for the guest, always. Especially when it's a 4-bedroom home. Just a lot of people in it. And then this is bedroom number 1, much better size, for sure, than the previous one. Bedroom number 2. Just a single pane of glass. I always like it when you go into a guest room that has a little bit more natural light than you're expecting, but this is pretty basic. Good amount of space though, I will say, for those. And then entrance to the attic, right? That's what that stick was for. And we just have a little bit more storage here. That's where my board games would go. I would have this as a hangout spot. Have a TV, have a table for some board games, that'd be good. This deep utility room. So I do like how deep it is, because you can easily add a folding table here and fold your clothes. It's a lot more space to kind of keep everything organized in here. And then we're in the primary. Again, no ceiling fan, which surprised me, so definitely want to add that. A good amount of light in this one. I do like the light. I like that we have this overhang here, so yeah, it's kind of naturally built-in shade a little bit, which is a nice feature. And then primary bathroom is pretty nice. So natural light coming in the toilet room, which is rare. Usually don't see that. And then linen closet, dual vanity. So we got 2 sinks, walk-in shower, and then walk-in closet. No built-in shelves with this one. Kind of weird that the only natural light you're getting is from the toilet room. Everything else in here is kind of dark. I wish there was natural light coming over the shower. That's not anything crazy to expect at this price point, so something to think about, but cool, there you have it. My final thoughts on the Brohn homes we checked out and this neighborhood in general. I like the pool. So the amenities, I think $35 a month is really cheap for getting a pool. The basketball court, pickleball court's kind of lame. There's no cover. I don't know if I even saw a bench out there. It's just kind of, they put it in an open parking space. It's there, it's away from my backyard, so that's what I care about. I don't want to hear basketball, but the pool is very nice, so that's a big plus. Location, you know, if you are attending Texas State or you have a student going there, or you need easy access to downtown San Marcos / I-35, this is a good location. It's away from most of the traffic you're going to deal with. So getting in and out of San Marcos should be pretty seamless because this is a more rural area as they're developing out here. So that is nice from a traffic perspective of just, it's easy to get in and out of. And you have options if you're going north to Austin. The toll road is, I think, equal distance as well as I-35. So you can go either direction, which is nice. You have options for that. As far as the homes, I definitely prefer the other home, which is surprising because it was really small bedrooms. It really just depends on what you're going to use these homes for. Personally, I don't like a primary bedroom upstairs. I don't like it for 2 reasons. I can handle going up, but I prefer not to. Like, once you live in a house where your primary is downstairs and you don't have to go up and downstairs every day, you get really used to that. You don't want to go back. So number 1 is just, I don't want to have to go up and downstairs if I can avoid it. That's just an important factor for me. Second reason though is when you go to sell the home. Anytime I've tried to sell a home that had a primary upstairs, immediately it was obvious that we have fewer buyers looking at that, because once people hit a certain age, they're not going to even look at homes that don't have a primary on the first floor. So it's an aspect you need to think about. You may be fine going up and down the stairs every day to go to your bed, but when you go to sell the home in 5 to 7 years, then you're gonna have a little bit harder time. You know, there's other things, right? What's the market like? Is interest rates low? You may not need to worry about this because everyone's just trying to buy a house. Who knows, right? But if it's just a balanced market, you're gonna have fewer buyers even looking at your property purely because of the architectural design, right? We can't control the primary, we can't change that. We can change flooring, we can change tile, we can change the kitchen, right? But we can't move a bedroom to the first floor. So that's something I don't like about this floor plan. And then just the price. So, you know, the price of that first home are about 50, 55 lower, something like that, 50,000 lower. And it's a 4-bedroom just like this one. It is smaller, but it's a 1-story. And so 1-stories are typically higher value than 2-stories. So it really just depends on what you are gonna use the property for. As far as the build quality, I think they did a good job. They need to repaint the exterior of this one. Brohn in general, I feel like they do a good job. It's definitely, I feel like they've become a lower price, smaller home builder. They used to build in my neighborhood where I live in Southeast Austin, and they were building larger to middle-sized homes. So for whatever reason, they've kind of changed gears and they're doing smaller homes now. And so they are trying to be more of a discount builder where you're not gonna have, you know, brick or stone exteriors, you're just getting the hardy plank exterior. It's gonna be spec builds, the same materials used to lower costs. No ceiling fans, which is annoying to me because it surely can't cost that much more to add a couple ceiling fans, but whatever. So yeah, in that aspect, I think if you're going for a lower to mid-tier builder and you're trying to get a good quality build, but at a low price, I do think Brohn should be in the conversation. I would also check out, I think Pulte has really good homes that you can get one of their smaller homes at a good price. Ashton Woods, sometimes they have smaller homes at a really good price. DR Horton always has really good deals, but definitely get an inspection with those homes. Lennar, I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm sorry, Lennar, but I'm just not. But really good price. If price is your driving factor, then Lennar is tough to beat, Lennar and DR Horton. But okay, I've spoken a ton. I just started talking to a camera instead of wrapping this up. So if you are interested in buying a house, anytime within the next 12 months, definitely subscribe to the channel, and you can always give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom call. It really helps having a realtor by your side that knows the area, has your best interests in mind, so to make sure, especially if you're going the new build route, that you're not taken advantage of. Because it's not like buying something at the store. They can say it's this price, but I know everything's negotiable, and I'm very capable of getting you not just a lower price, but better terms, more appliances, better move-in date, things like that. Make sure an inspection is done. So definitely, if you have a realtor, use them. If you don't, I'd love to help you. Reach out to me. That's my cell number down there. So reach out anytime. Happy to help y'all. And until next time, I hope to see you guys around the neighborhood.